Welcome to Real Estate Investing with Brent Daniels, the show where we know that finding discounted property is the most proven path to financial freedom. I am your host, Brent Daniels, Mr. TTP, and we are broadcasting live. This is a live show from Phoenix, Arizona, from the Batch Studios here, and we are excited because we are here to answer your real estate investing questions and simplify the whole process. We've got a phenomenal show today. I've got Tom Krol, the godfather of wholesaling coaching, coming on at the top of the hour. But before we get started, a quick shout out to our sponsor, batchskiptracing.com, batchskiptracing.com, where you go to get the most accurate phone numbers for the properties that you're trying to get a hold of. Today, we are talking about how to do, and I wrote it down here, deals faster, smoother, and more profitable, all right? And that all comes down to the third part of the wholesaling process, the third part of real estate investing process, really, which is your exit strategy. And if you are wholesaling real estate, it is absolutely critical that you are building up a robust and very active cash buyer database. But what I'm going to do here is I have 6 things that I want to go through in this front training that we do every single week. And it's going to be a little bit different. It's not going to be the typical cash buyer kind of training. I'm going to give you the real nitty-gritty, some of the questions that maybe haven't even popped up in your mind yet, so that you can feel comfortable and confident on all of the appointments that you're going on with the distressed property owner, so that you can set upfront expectations on how the process is going to work, so it's not an uncomfortable situation when you bring your cash buyers into the deal. All right, that's what really stops a lot of people is, I don't have any problem generating leads, Brent. I'm out there, I'm hustling, I'm doing what I can, I'm finding opportunities, and I'm over there and I'm learning how to close them, I'm learning how to get the contract signed, I'm learning how to get those distressed property owners, those motivated sellers to work with me, but I just, the last part of it, the cash buyers, I feel a little bit intimidated. I'm not really sure how to communicate with them. I'm not really sure the process there. So I'm going to break it all down, and I'm going to leave this open. I'm going to leave some holes in this because I want the questions to come out of you. This is an interactive show. All right, and part of the interaction is to smash that subscribe button right now. If you are not subscribed, make sure that you are hitting the subscribe button right now, because we have live shows twice a week, and we put out a lot of very pure instruction that is the top of what you need to implement into your business. All right, so first, right here. Actually, what I want to do right before we start dancing with the cash buyers, what I'd like to do is pop up this exercise for everybody. And I want everybody to download this. You can get it from TTP Insider. And this is the world famous 7 levels deep exercise. Now, I have every single one of my TTP students in the TTP mentorship program go through this. And this is one of the main reasons why we are known as the best of the best in the industry, for being the most proactive and getting the biggest deals out there. And it's because of this mindset exercise. All right, this exercise is so absolutely critical. You can download this at TTP Insider. But what this does, this is psychological. This is getting down to your core reason why you want to be successful in this business. When you ask yourself the question 7 times why you want to be a successful real estate investor, and here it's a successful TTP student, but a successful real estate investor is basically what that means. When you start asking the question, what's important to you about it? Why is this important? Why is this important? It's important because I want to make money. Well, why is it making money important to you? Because I want to provide for my family. I have this fire in my belly to support and to provide not only financially, but a great example of what you can do in a lifetime to everybody that I surround myself with, whether it be family or friends or network network or whatever it is. You know, okay, well, why is that important? Well, because I didn't really feel that growing up, or I feel like if I can do that, then I'm going to have more freedom in my life, to have more happiness. Well, why do you want to be happy? And it just goes down and down and down to the real core reason. And when you get down to that 7th level down there, that's the thing. That's the thing that you pin up on your wall. That's your mantra. That's your motto. That's the reason why you are doing all of this. That's why you're working a 9 to 5 and then you're hustling on the side to be a real estate entrepreneur. That's the reason why you truly want to go out there and sacrifice your time and efforts and energies and skills and talents to pick up the phone and be proactive, or knock on doors, or just get into conversations, quality conversations with the distressed property owners in your marketplace, and convert that into something special for either yourself or a cash buyer. I mean, that is the core reason, and you have to stick to that, because this is hard. It is a fist fight. The first 90 days when you're building up your momentum is going to be one of the hardest things that you've ever gone through, but you survive that 90 days of consistency. You start building up your pipeline of opportunities, and you are set. You keep going and going and going. The train, if you have not started, is on the tracks. It's sitting at the station. We got to get that engine rolling down. And that right there, that exercise, the bottom core, the reason why you're doing this, is going to strip away all of the fakeness, all of the bravado, all of the ego, all of the arrogance. It's going to strip it down so that you can focus on why do you actually want to do it. It's absolutely incredibly impactful. You need to download it today at TTP Insider. It is critical that you start there and you open up your mindset and your psychology to being able to accept what's coming at you, and understand that the journey is so critical, and the journey is what you're going to look back on, and really that's going to be nostalgic for you. That's going to be important for you. That's the things that you're going to remember. Yes, you're going to remember the money and the houses and the investment portfolios and the cars and paying off the debt and all that, but the journey, nobody can take that away from you. It's the experience, but you got to make sure that you are leveled down and have that core. All right? Boom! Oh, do you feel that, guys? I feel that. I feel that so hard. I mean, this is absolutely critical. I remember going through this exercise, and it totally blew me away. So let's talk about faster, smoother, more profitable deals. Okay, number one, I put this up front because I think it's important. Setting the showing expectation with your seller. All right, what do I mean by that? You need to, in your presentation, whether it be virtually or face-to-face, knee-to-knee, belly-to-belly, you need to set up a time when you can come through with, if you're buying it yourself, obviously your contractors, your financial partners, anybody that needs to see that property, or if you're bringing cash buyers into the mix, you need to bring them to the property if they need to see it at a specific time. What I suggest is you set it out 3 or 4 days after you lock up the property. Okay, give yourself enough time to generate enough interest with your cash buyers. So you say to the seller, Mr. Seller, I need a 2-hour block that it's going to be an absolute madhouse in here. I'm going to bring everybody through so that we can get it through all at once, make sure that everybody's comfortable with the deal, and then we'll move forward. All right, and this is great because it gives them the opportunity to understand when they need to start packing up their stuff, right? Organizing, moving all of their personal belongings if it's not a vacant property, an empty property. You know, it helps set everything up. It helps you kind of set the pace of how the transaction goes. And if you set the upfront expectation that there's going to be a lot of people through and it's going to be a madhouse, but you only bring a couple people through, that's fine. Their expectation is that there's going to be hundreds of people, not really, but at least, you know, a handful of people coming through the property. Set it up front so that when you go there, if you don't do this, if you don't take my advice here, you're going to go there, there's going to be a ton of people showing up. The seller's going to be, what is going on here? I never wanted this much people through the property. That's why I wanted to sell it privately and off the market. I don't feel good about this. I want to cancel it. Or now the trust that you've built is eroding and kind of getting stripped down a little bit. So don't do it. Set that upfront expectation. Number 2, never gets talked about, Mike. This never gets talked about. Taking good pictures.
Quick question. So do you just tell them that a bunch of people are going to be coming through? Like, who do you tell them these people are?
You can tell them who they are. You can tell them that it's your cash buyers that you're putting the deal in front of. You can tell them it's your business partners. If you're looking to close these, you can tell them it's your contractors. If you're bringing contractors through, if you want to get a bid on all these things, you got to be honest with your property owners. All right, you got to be honest. If you're not in a position to be able to close that deal, you need to tell them that you've got cash buyers that are going to actually close the deal. But it doesn't change anything with the agreement that you have with them. Okay, does that make sense?
Yep.
Next, taking pictures. Listen to me. 20 pictures minimum for every single property, unless it's like a vacant piece of land. Then you could just take a Google Earth shot or whatever else, and maybe one from the street. But if it's a property, an actual structure, I need 20 minimum 20 minimum pictures. And the way that I want you to take them is I want you to take the pictures from your chest. Don't take them up here. It makes the room seem crazy. Take them from the corners. Go to the corner of the room. Take the pictures. Make sure that you're showing as much of the property as possible. In the back of the lot, go to the very back of the lot, go into the corner, take a shot as big as you can. You want to show everybody the potential of it. Make sure that you're taking shots of anything. If there's a hole in the roof, if the air conditioner is totally destroyed and ripped apart, if the water heater is leaking, if the furnace or the basement is unfurnished, make sure that you get those pictures so that the cash buyer can make a quick decision. The better the pictures, the quicker that they're going to make that decision, okay? And that's critical. Now, if you need listen, I've got all this. I've got the full free training, Cash Buyer Pack, TTP Insider. While you're downloading the 7 layers deep exercise, you can also pick up this. This is going to go really, really, really deep and let you know how to build up your first 100 cash buyers, which is absolutely great.
Just let them know I'm working on it.
He's working. All right, Jesse is working on. We had the 7 layers deep in the actual mentorship program. We're going to put it into the toolbox. Give him a little bit of time before you download that. Don't get frustrated with it. If you're watching this later, it should already be there. But this definitely is already there. It's absolutely bananas. It gives you the step-by-step instructions on exactly how to build up your first 100 cash buyers. So you've got that tool for you. Make sure that you're getting in there and checking out that tool. Okay?
Hey,
Mike?
So Brent, couple questions about pictures. So do you just use your smartphone, or do you get like some crazy camera?
Yep, just use your smartphone. Most of them are fine.
So more and better pictures means more cash buyers can make a decision sight unseen, which means less people going through the house.
Yeah, I mean, 90% of the properties we sell, Mike, are sight unseen. Yeah, which is incredible. But one, because we have a great reputation. Two, we have fantastic pictures. We put them into either a Google Drive and create a link for that to be able to share with everybody, or a Dropbox. Either one is kind of the industry standard. Just either get into those. Google Drives are probably most common because I think that they're free, right? Yeah.
Yeah, it's free.
Yeah, okay, good. Number 3. When do you blast out the deals? And how do you blast out the deals? If you've got 100, 200, 2,000 cash buyer emails in your database, how do you blast those out? We use MailChimp. It's been working great for us. There's other email providers that you can use, but we use MailChimp. It shows a lot of it shows us how many people are opening it up and who's opening it up and that type of thing. So it's really, really, really effective. And I think that it's really cost effective as well. Now, in the beginning, if you just have a handful, copy and paste them into your email, but make sure that you blind carbon copy the whole list. You don't want to just put your list out there for everybody to take and not give you something in return for. That's one of the big mistakes people make, is they put all of their emails into who it's going to, and they don't blind carbon copy it. So make sure that you blind carbon copy. That's what that BCC is on every email. We almost rarely use it, never use it, but make sure that you do here. All right, now listen, don't blast it out after noon on Friday. All right, Cash buyers are crazy people. Cash buyers are running around all the time. Cash buyers are not looking at their emails. We find a significant drop off on the interaction with our cash buyers after noon on Friday. So Monday in the morning to Friday at noon, that is prime time. Now, the earlier that you can send it out, the better. That's when a lot of open times are going, and you can send it out as early as 6 a.m. to start getting those buyers looking at them. All right. If you send it out in the afternoon, that's fine too, but just make sure that you're watching you're tracking your results on when people are opening up the most. And obviously, the more deals you do, the more accurate your information is going to be about that. But basically, Monday through Friday at noon is your prime time, peak time to get in front of the cash buyers that are going to make a decision. Don't send it on the weekends, all right? They're at their vacation house. They're on their boat in the water. They're hiking. They're running marathons. They're doing all sorts of different things. Don't send it in the weekend. That's when, like, the people that, you're just not going to get as much exposure there. And I want you to get as much exposure as possible, because if somebody jumps on it on the weekend, they give you what you want, you don't know if you could have bid that deal up. All right. Number 4 is reviewing your offers. All right. And taking the best offer. Now listen, the best offer doesn't necessarily mean the highest offer, all right? It depends on the deal, right? If you've got a deal that needs to be closed quickly, you need, like in a week or two, or, maybe that 2-week, maximum, you need to close this quickly. You need somebody that has funds now, that's reliable, that has a great reputation, and they're going to get that deal closed. And that is so important, because nothing's worse than getting down to the last day and they don't have their money in, right? They're not closing on time. They're not communicating with the closing attorney or the title company. So you need to make sure that you're working with somebody that is very, very reliable. Now, if you've got a nice runway of time, you've got a nice 30, 45 days, you've got a nice 10, 14 day inspection period, you're going to close in 30, 45 days, then you can open it up and make sure that you're looking at the offers and making sure that they're legit, because people will outbid people just to get the deal assigned to them and then start beating you up on the price later once they go and see the property. Well, you didn't tell me about this, you didn't tell me about that, I didn't know about this, I thought that the picture showed that, but I didn't really understand how much work that would need, so I need to get this at $5,000 or $10,000 cheaper. Watch out for those cash buyers. They are in every market. They're always, they're always ready to wheel and deal and try to renegotiate afterwards. I hate that, right? Don't let them run your business, because it really, it turns everything into a nice smooth process into really jagged. And now you're going back and forth with your cash buyer. Are they going to close? Are they not going to close? What's going on? And one thing which leads us to number 5. Go ahead, Mike.
So with a new cash buyer, excuse me, do you ask for proof of funds from their hard money lender, from their bank, just to make sure that they have the money? What do you do there?
Typically not. It leads into number 5, right? Number 5 is the really important one, because people will jump and say, I want it, assign it to me, I want it, assign it to me, give it me, I want this deal, send me over the DocuSign, send me over the electronic signature, I want this deal, and they have no intention of closing on it. They just want to daisy chain it, they want to sell it to their group of buyers, and it turns into a nightmare, all right? So, you need to make sure, number 5 here, earnest money, non-refundable earnest money. I don't take a deal unless a cash buyer gives us $5,000, not us. It goes to the title company, right? Or if you're in an attorney state, your attorney. $5,000 non-refundable earnest deposit. That is the key. Okay, if they get that in, they have skin in the game. If they get that in, they have funds typically. If they get that in, they are going to be serious, and they don't want to lose out on that $5,000. All right, and talk to your local escrow officer. Talk to your your closing attorney, and say, hey, listen, how do I make sure that they don't try to come back and get this $5,000 earnest deposit? What language should I put in my assignment agreement to make sure that that doesn't happen? happen. It varies in different areas. That's why I can't just give you like a carbon copy of something. Oh, carbon copy. I'm a carbon copy. I can't give you a copy of an assignment agreement that has all the language for all the states. So make sure that you have that conversation with your escrow officer or your closing attorney so that you can feel confident that if they're not going to perform, you get that $5,000 and you have enough time to be able to resell that deal.
7 layers deep is in there.
7 layers deep is in the Insider. Go to TTP Insider. Make sure that you download it. If you're just jumping on now, it's an incredible exercise. It is the foundation of building your real estate business. All right. And the last one, number 6, and then we're going to open this wide open to questions. We got Tom Krol at the top of the hour. If you have not subscribed to this channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button. If you're feeling this, we do this twice a week on Mondays and on Wednesdays. This show specifically on Wednesday. It's the absolute best for you to get the questions that you have answered. All right. So make sure you hit the subscribe button. And last, what if I don't have any cash buyers? Right? That's the question. That's the question that everybody, right? You know, that's what we're looking at. So I'm going to show you a couple different ways to pull up some cash buyers. I'm going to go briefly through it so we can open it up to questions. Make sure that you get this cash buyer pack at TTP Insider. It's going to give you a real, written breakdown so that you can just follow the instructions as opposed to having to write all the notes as I'm talking here and more questions pop up. All right. So first of all, let's look here. Let's jump into the computer. Hopefully it's still open. Okay, great. This is perfect. Okay, let's jump in here. So what I want to show you here is ttpdata.com, ttpdata.com powered by PropStream here. And I just want to give you this example. I wanted to kind of cut out some of the fat in the show here and just jump into what I already have filtered as opposed to doing it because you can see what I filtered here. But right here, if I've got a deal in this zip code, 85016, right here, all I do is I put that in there and then I filter. And you're going to see right here, there's 86 properties. But look at this filter that I did. All right, right here, owner occupied, no. Single family. Why did I do single family as opposed to everything? Well, I have a single family house that I want to sell. I just locked up a single family house. I want to go for the people that are buying single family properties. Well, what if it's a condo? Put in condo. What if it's a townhouse? Put in townhouse. I want to go after what I'm targeting, which is properties that are older, right? So if I'm targeting properties that were built before 1990, I want to look for buyers that are buying properties that were built before 1990. So I put 1990 or earlier there. Okay, I want to look for people that bought it in the last year. I want people that are active buyers right now, 1 year of ownership or less. And then I look at, okay, if this property gets totally cleaned up, what does it sell for? Well, it sells for $500,000. Okay, so I want to look for people that are buying cash properties at maybe $450,000, or I could even push that up to $500,000. But I like it a little bit lower because they want to get some deals, right? So I look for the people that are buying for $450,000 or less. Boom, right there. Okay, so that is what I filtered to get to these unique properties. Now I put it here for a reason. Can you get me off the screen for a second so I can show them the bottom here, Matt? I need the very bottom, so I need the TTP data. They get it. Right down here, see how I'm on page 2, and this is pretty typical. So on page 2, what ends up happening, you see these ones that don't have a picture on them? You see these? Now look at the estimated equity. This one's a little rough, but look at this. Look at this. 180,000 in estimated equity here. Look at this. You think this is a cash buyer? You think this is somebody that's buying properties and flipping them? Absolutely. I'm going to take this. I'm going to take this, the mailing address. I'm going to put it into batchskiptracing.com because, listen, they are able to skip trace LLCs and trusts now. It's absolutely bananas. You need to really start going back through your list and making sure that you're putting in the LLCs because a lot of people aren't doing it. A lot of people are still removing it and they're getting lazy just calling the regular list that they already skip trace because they spend a bunch of money. Get in there and get that deal. All right, get these properties. That'll help you get that deal. So I would take this, I would take the mailing address, I would put it into batch, I would skip trace it, and I would reach out to them. You can also probably search it on Google and see how that pops up and look at some of these things. Lux Management there, Lux here. Come on. This is probably who it's about. I've got their phone number somewhere in here, you know, right here. Come on. Woo! It's not, listen, just go a little bit deeper. Just go a little bit deeper, and you're going to find these opportunities. You're going to call up these people. You're going to tell them you got a smoking off-market property in the same zip code that they're buying. Do you want that? Do you want me to send it over to you? Boom. Of course they do. And now you've got a cash buyer, and you are rocking and rolling. And you just rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat. And that's what you do. You can see here that there's a lot of properties in here that don't have that photo, right? Look at this. See? This is why we go to page 2 and we go after those real buyers. Look at this. Look at all these estimated equity that they have. These are the cash buyers that you want to go after. Mike, hit me with it.
Hey, so would you say that these cash buyers that have recently bought,
Yep.
right, and around whichever deal you've got are
Yep.
probably going to be some of the potential best buyers for your deal?
Best buyers. One, listen, they're going to know the market. They're going to know how to comp, right, Mike? I mean, they just closed on a deal. They're not going to close on a deal if they don't know the area, you know, and so they're going to be hungry for more opportunities in that area.
I would think they want to keep their crews close by, too.
Absolutely.
Easier to manage
Great
versus
point.
driving across
They
town.
keep all of their construction and all their subcontractors close so that they can just go boom and then move a couple miles, boom. That's an incredible point. Yes. So go after that. The other one here, guys, I want to show you this right here. I think that this is really important. Keegley, obviously, my great friend Jamil Damji owns this company. These guys right here, these are the locations that they're at. You can see I went to Keegley.com. I went to franchising here. I looked for these ones. I looked for their current locations. You can reach out to them on their website. They will help comp your properties. They also will tap in. They're a disposition company. So if you have nothing, if you have nowhere, if you're like desperate to get this deal sold and you feel like you're against the clock, you know, definitely reach out to Keegley. Make sure, one, that your numbers are strong, and two, you've got an opportunity. Now, listen, they're going to split the deal with you. That's their business model. They're going to split the deal with you. But they've got a really, really huge buyer list in every single market that you can tap into.
So they don't charge up front to help you with this
Nope,
stuff?
nope, completely free up front. They're not going to charge you anything. They want the deal. They want to work with you. They want you to bring them more and more opportunities. That's their whole business model. So definitely check that out. And then the other one, we're going to go to realtor.com real quick. And by the way, this gets real in-depth in the cash buyer pack. So make sure that you're looking there. All right. We're going to go look in the same zip code, 8501016. Okay, we're going to look here. We're going to search, and I'm looking for properties that are that look beautiful, that they're staged. This isn't a single family, so let's find a single family that looks like it is just absolutely beautiful. Here, this is great. This one's great right here, okay? I'm looking at this property. It looks like it's probably staged. I've got the, it's Dallas here. I just skip traced this, and I've got the search on Google, boom. I'm gonna be able to pull it up, find his phone number. Come on, I find his phone number right there. I'm gonna call him up and say, hey, Dallas, I've got a smoking off-market property, and I see that you're doing incredible flips in that area, or representing incredible flips. Can I send this to you? And that's how you tap into the real estate agents that are connected with all the cash buyers, or very likely, probably 50, 60, maybe in some areas 80% of the time, they're the buyer themselves. They're the buyer. So they make the decisions. They're going to let you know that they want to work with you. And that's what you do. So there's some quick tips on how to pull those.
I like how Jamil, he was talking about on the hotline, how he looks at the closets to see if they're empty,
Yep.
as a tell
Yep.
to see if it's a flip.
Yeah, you look at the closets to see if there's clothes in the closets. If it's not, then typically it's a flip. It's not just a beautifully staged or decorated home. Yeah, You're looking for all that stuff. You're looking for the family pictures. You're looking for clothes. You're looking for the garage that kind of has cars in it, or storage and that type of thing. So that's what you're looking for to make sure that it's a flip. Because a lot of flips, to get the most, they stage the properties. Just depends on the area. It depends on the price range. Typically, the lower end flips don't have that. But that is some resources for you. Don't forget, at the top of the hour in 31 minutes, we've got Tom Krol popping on here to talk about cash buyers and how to work with them effectively. So make sure that you stick around for that.
Tom's looking good today. We saw him a little bit earlier.
Tom is looking great. Tom has just got a smile. He's very excited to be on this show. He absolutely loves the Rhino Tribe. He loves this audience. He loves this show, and he's a big supporter. So make sure that you stick around for that. So without that, boom, we did 30 minutes. That was great. I feel really good about that first quarter of this show. So let's open it up to some questions. I want to get nitty gritty. I want to see what people, what's bubbling up in everybody's mind about either cash buyers or just real estate investing in general. So hit me, Alejandro. What do we got? All right, do you label the pictures room by room? You can. I don't think that it's necessary. Typically, people will know what a living room is. People will typically know what a kitchen is, or a bathroom, or a bedroom. So don't kill yourself by putting like a watermark on it or putting notes in every single one. Speed is important. I would rather you get good quality pictures, put it in there. But if you want to add that little sauce, Freya, do it. Add that little sauce. I like that. That's fine. It just lets people know kind of the flow. If you want to do a flow where you start from the outside of the house as if you're walking through. If you walk into a house, it's almost like a goat path that everybody takes through houses. You can kind of follow that path as you're taking the pictures to give a really good idea of what that property looks like. Videos are okay. I haven't seen it move the needle a lot. That's a question that a lot of people have is, do I take a video of these properties? Will that make it better? It's okay. A lot of these properties are in really rough shape. There's dogs barking, there's cats running around, there's, owners wanting to talk to you. It just kind of slows everything down if you're doing a video tour of the house and the owner's trying to talk to you and build rapport with you and see if they like you. You know what I mean? Maybe after you get everything done, you can do a video as a bonus, but the pictures are key.
Hey, Brent, so something I don't think we talked about is, so when do you take the pictures? Do you take them when you first get to the offer presentation? Do you do it after you get the contract signed? When do you actually take the pictures?
I highly suggest that you take the pictures. It's in here. It's in the cash buyer. Actually, this is in the offer presentation pack. A free download, the perfect offer presentation pack, which is critical. Get that to a TTP Insider. But I like taking pictures as soon as I get there, like asking permission and saying, do you mind if I take some pictures of the property? And they say, yes, that's a good step in the right direction. If they're like, no, I don't want to take, all of a sudden you're going to have to really work hard on building up that rapport, building up that relationship so that they feel comfortable with everything. But if they're like, yeah, take pictures, go for it, rock and roll, you're like, okay, these guys are open. These guys are open. They're ready to go. They understand that I'm here to get this agreement signed and to move forward on this transaction. So, yeah, love it. Good. Matt. How about taking a video? Yeah, exactly. So we kind of, that was in the chamber, but yeah, I think it's great. I would do it after you get the contract signed if you're going to do it. And just see, if your cash buyers are loving on the videos, go for it. You know what I mean? I wouldn't say you jazz it up too much. I wouldn't edit it and be all crazy with it. And I would try to get it so that it's something that they can see quickly, kind of go through the property in a few minutes, check out everything. But the pictures really tell the story. But you can test it out, Matt. Test it out. So if that gets you more people that will make a decision with sight unseen, then it works. Go for it. Samir, how do you know if they are the legit buyers or the one that beats you up on price? Well, first of all, there's some kind of tells that come along. And this is a great question. I love this, Samir. So a couple of it is they're really, really, really pressuring you to take their offer. Take it. Where's the agreement? Where's the agreement? I'm ready to go. I'll give you your price. Give it to me. 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 Now, listen, I love when they communicate, but communicate with some professionalism, all right? Not like a 7-year-old little boy that's, just nagging and nagging and nagging and nagging, right? So if they're nagging you and they're really high pressuring you to get you that agreement, you can assume that they're probably trying to wholesale that deal. But have that conversation. At least give them the chance to explain why they are so dramatic about their approach to getting this deal. If they're like, I need to get this house, please. Like, my brother lives 4 houses down. He's my contractor. This would be perfect. I've got, family that wants to move into this area. I'd love to fix up a house. I do really great. I only work in this area. I would love this. I would do something special with it. Here's the other deals that I did. That's a whole different conversation than give it to me, 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 give it. You know what I mean? That's just annoying, and that's kind of the tell, Samir. So just watch out for that. Make sure that they're being professional. Make sure that they're not like, if you don't sell me this deal, I'm never going to buy a deal from you ever again, and nobody's going to buy. I'm going to give you a bad reputation. Screw that person. Guy or gal in your market that acts like that, listen, there's more buyers. They don't control the whole market. Knock it off, all right? You can find more opportunities. You don't have to work with the jerks in our industry, all right? Samuel, all right. Does the non-refundable earnest money go towards your assignment fee, or is it separate? The non-refundable earnest money is going to the purchase of that property. So earnest money goes towards the price that they're paying, the total amount of cash that's going in. It is separate from your assignment fee. Your assignment fee is a line item in the closing in the settlement statement. The earnest money will replace your earnest money. If you have earnest money into the deal, you'll get that back, and then they'll have to come in with the remaining funds that are over the $5,000 to close that deal. Great question. No, it does not. It does if they cancel, right? If they breach the contract and they don't close the deal, you get that money. Okay. You get that money. Obviously, if you put earnest with the seller, they get that earnest money if the deal just totally blows up, but I hope that it doesn't. That's why we're doing this training, to make sure that you don't have deals blow up and have to deal with all that awkwardness. So, but the earnest money goes towards the purchase. Good question. Kev, when I bring a bunch of cash buyers to an open house, would it be okay to accept backup offers on the spot, or should I speak to them individually afterwards? Most cash buyers aren't going to play the backup game. It's just a fact. They're looking to buy a property that week or whatever. But if they say put me in backup, then just put them in backup. I mean, I don't know if you need it in writing. You certainly can talk to your attorney if you want to really get a backup offer. But typically it's just verbal. Typically we just keep notes. Okay, this guy really wants it if this buyer gets squirrely, and so we'll reach out to him immediately if anything goes kind of goofy, right? So, yeah, I mean, typically if you're sitting there and there's a bunch of people and you're like, you, Bob, you win the bid. You got the best. I mean, that just doesn't happen, right? It's not like an auction house where you're standing up there at a podium with a gavel and you're right. You're doing all the auction type of thing. That's just not what happens. What happens is typically people will give you their offers. You review them after the open house. You pick the best one. You tell whoever else, no hard feelings. I'll make sure to send you everything that we got. And hopefully you can get the next one. But if anything gets wiggly, if anything gets a little bit, off with this deal, I'll make sure to reach out to you immediately. Cool? Cool. All right, great. I'll send you the next deal here in a couple days. Boom. There you go.
What are some red flags that you look for to see if a deal's kind of going off rail?
Communication. It's number one. Great question. As you're going through it and the cash buyer's not giving the information to the title company or closing attorney, or all of a sudden they're not returning your texts, or all of a sudden you get an email blast out and a text blast with your deal that's $5,000-$10,000 more, you know that they're trying to sell that deal. They're trying to wholesale that deal. most cash buyers, if they commit, they're going to commit, especially if they see the property, they feel good with it, they're going to close that deal. They know what's going on. It's when you sell it to somebody that's trying to wholesale it as well, and they start, kind of ghosting you once they get the assignment from you, and then all of a sudden they're out there, all of a sudden you see it everywhere on 13 different websites, your deal, but for more, for a higher amount. One, that's a good indication that you need to build your cash buyer database bigger, because you should be getting as much of that meat on the bone as possible and leaving the rest of that meat, the big chunk of that meat, for the actual cash buyer to make something on a flip, or to be happy with a rental property that they're buying or whatever else. You want to make sure that you're taking care of the cash buyers, and that another wholesaler isn't like sucking out all the equity and they're selling it to an uneducated buyer. So, yeah.
Is that what you guys call daisy chaining when your buyer's trying to sell it to another buyer?
Yeah, daisy chain is, I have the deal, I assign it to you, Mike. Mike, you now have you now blast it out to all the people that you know, and you try to make something on top of it, and then you sell it to somebody else. You sell it to Alejandra. Alejandra then sends it out to her list for $5,000, $10,000 more, and then finds another buyer, and then all of a sudden there's 4 different assignment fees on the closing statement, and you made, I made 10, but you made 15, Alejandra made 5, and somebody else, made 7 or whatever. It's crazy, but it happens all the time. Just build up. That's why you want to build up your cash buyer database right here. Cash buyer pack, TTP Insider. That is it. It is crucial that that you are selling to people that you know are going to make it as smooth and as fast and as profitable as possible. And the number one way to do that is to subscribe to this channel. Boom! Gotcha! Subscribe to this channel if you haven't subscribed already. We come live, hours and hours of live question and answers. Plus, we have all the clips of instruction that you need as you're going through this business, so that you feel that energy, you feel that enthusiasm coming through to you, and you get that shot every single day, multiple times a day. Make sure you subscribe right now. Okay, what do we got next? How close are we to Tom? Oh, we still got 20 minutes. Great. QP Flicks. All right, what exactly do I send in an email to advertise my property to a potential cash buyer? QP, just sign up on a wholesaler. Just Google wholesale real estate in your market and sign up for their email. Sign up to get the deals through email and see what they're doing to put in your market. Some markets make you put more disclosures than others on that you're just selling the contract or the right to purchase the property. You're not actually selling the property. So make sure that you sign up with the top guys in your market. If you want to get a good example, go to Keegley.com and see their email blast outs, especially if they're in your market, and that's going to give you a good indication of what to put in there. But typically, it just depends. Sometimes you're going to put the potential ARV on there. You can put some comps to support that ARV. You put a link to the pictures on there. You put the address. A lot of people are like, I'm going to just send out properties with no address. Good luck getting top buyers to actually look at it. They won't even mess with it. So yeah, I mean, make sure that you're building your cash buyer database and you're cleaning it up all the time. You don't want, those what I would consider, scumbags in your market that go take that property, get your email blast, and then go to the seller and go, hey, look, they're blasting out this property. They're selling this property. Now your seller's like, what's going on and what's happening? You don't want that to happen. Make sure that you're cleaning up your list of those people as you hear about it. It'll happen. But just clean it out. Don't, but get the information out there. They need to know the address, the price, when it closes, all those things, so that they can make a good decision. Great question, QP. Really great. But I would just sign up with somebody local. James, there you go. James, my man. Do I have to send an entire list of cash buyers to batch for skip tracing? You can do one by one, or you can do multiple. It just depends. We use batchleads.io so much to stack our lists, to really keep our business organized through batchleads.io. We also text out of there, and they're really hot on the trails, right, Mike? Hot on the trails of PropStream when it comes to pulling lists and comping and data, and they're coming in hot. They really are. That's where I go to organize, and then you just put in the address and you can pull it really quickly. It just says if you want to skip. But you can do it one by one. You can absolutely do it one by one. So, yeah, definitely check that out. I mean, and you don't have to have batchleads.io. If you do get batchleads.io, make sure you use coupon code TTP. You get 5,000 free addresses, property list, distressed property list addresses that you can pull for free. Batchleads.io TTP. Check that out. All right. Julius, what do you think of Zillow now being cash buy? I love this. Yes. Finally. This is incredible, Julius. This is, I got this text twice in the last week from my TTP family members. And here's the fact. All of these, what are considered iBuyers, all right? Zillow, Open Door, OfferPad, some other ones, they are looking for properties that are cosmetic remodels. All right. So if people are going and it's a good, clean property and it's newer, first they have a buy box. Typically they want properties that are newer within the last 20 years. They want them to have a cosmetic rehab budget of under $10,000, and they want to make just about 3 to 6% on that deal when they put it back on the market. And they're losing money left and right. They're literally trying to disrupt real estate agents. They're trying to get rid of real estate agents and just do everything online. But the wonderful thing for us is they don't go after ugly houses. They don't go after ugly houses. They have certain buy boxes. They know they're not going to take down a property that needs all this work and jam up their construction crews for months and months and months at a time. So if we're going after the truly most distressed, most beat up, most in need of renovation properties, it doesn't affect us. It has not affected us. You know how it has affected me, Julius? I've sold deals to them. I've sold deals that you have to close on them. You can't wholesale it to them. You have to actually be the owner. But I would close on a deal. They don't care how long you've owned it. They don't care what you bought it for. I would close on a deal and sell it right to them and they were my cash buyer. I mean, it's bananas. It's crazy. Now they are the ones that come back in every single time to every single property owner and beat you up on inspection items. So if you're battling, if for some reason you're close, they want to work with you, but they also hear about these Zillow and these Open Door and these OfferPads, you need to let them know, listen, they might show you that they're offering a bunch, but there's a ton of fees. And when they get their inspector in here, you can expect a huge reduction on any of the repair items that they're going to throw at you. And they do not care if you don't want to reduce. If you don't want to reduce, they're gone. They don't care. They've got huge marketing budgets. They've got a huge reach. They don't care if you close that deal or not. So they either get what they want or they move on to somebody that will give them what they want. So that's the conversation you have with them. If you're competing with them, listen, you're going to know what you're going to net right now when you meet with me, seller. All right, right now when you meet with me, Mr. or Mrs. Property Owner. But with these iBuyers, they're going to come back in and they are going to reduce that price. They're going to hit you and hit you and hit you and hit you for everything. And you know as well as I do, Mr. Homebuyer, Mr. Property Owner, Mrs. Property Owner, if they come in here with a professional inspector and start digging around on everything, it's going to be a bloodbath. They're going to have a huge list and they're going to want a huge reduction, and you're going to be set back at, even potentially lower than what I can offer you. So we can either work together and you can feel like you're working with somebody that's going to over communicate with you, or you can be a cog in a machine that doesn't really care. It's a robot. Do you want to work with a robot or do you want to work with a human being? That's the way that you work those. Does that make?
Yeah, that was great. But you're also
Thank
saying
you.
that if they're going after just the really old, nasty stuff,
Yeah.
then it's not even going to be an issue.
No, and you can call up any of their real estate agents. I mean, when they relist these properties, they have real estate agents. Then you can ask them, what is their buyer box? What are you guys looking to buy? When I say buyer box, it's literally like these are the areas that they want to buy, these are the types of properties they want to buy, and here are the specific. They want to buy properties that aren't pushing the top of the market, that need a little bit of, they need carpet and paint, but don't need a ton of other things. They need new appliances and they can get top dollar, but somebody doesn't want to mess with it, doesn't want to put it on the market, just wants to sell it to them cash. They've got a decently clean house. What this really affects is the wholesale business, right? Where it's a decent property, people need to get out fast, and they need a cash offer, and you just go in, you put carpet and paint and some appliances, and boom, you are in the money. It really is going to affect wholesaling. So make sure that you're going after the worst properties, because guess what the worst properties bring you? The biggest profits. There's more potential for sweat equity in really run down properties.
And
Good.
Brent,
Yeah.
a lot of those iBuyers, I know Open Door does for sure, they have a referral program if you're licensed, where if you have a deal that's not a good wholesale deal,
Yep,
but they still need to move quick,
that's great.
you can just send the lead to Open Door or Zillow. And
But
they'll
you have
pay
to be
a-
licensed.
You have to be licensed.
You have to be licensed. Yep. If you're licensed and you run across that and they're thinking about, well, I need to get more for it and it's not going to really work for you and you don't really want to list that property, refer it over to one of those iBuyers and get a little slice of the pie. Thank you, Jesse. That was great. I love this. A lot more interaction today with you guys. Look at you guys. This is good. I love it. If local, Juan asks, if local, can I drive around and look for new construction or rehab and ask the brother? Oh, brother, Juan, it is right here, Mike, right? We put this together. Mike Mahoney and I put this together. It's right here. Boom. Right here is that exact thing. Stop by and find out who the owner of the property is. It's in the cash buyer pack. Stop by, have that conversation. By the way, in this cash buyer pack, I give you the exact scripts that I want you to use so that you feel comfortable opening up conversations with cash buyers or these contractors or anything. So make sure you get TTP Insider. Boom.
Hey, Brent, so also just like the real estate agents, a lot of times aren't the contractors also the flipper?
Yeah. Absolutely. I mean, and those are the guys that pay the most, because the guy that is the contractor gets the best deals on his subs, gets the best deals on equipment, gets the best deals on appliances. They've been doing it forever. They get the best discounts. So those guys can pay a little bit more than everybody else because they know they can go in and save money on the rehab. And one quick tip here for everybody, and Juan included here, listen, you do not need to master the art of putting together a contractor budget or a fix-up budget on these properties, because you don't know if you're running into somebody that's going to literally. I sold a property. This is off of Oregon in Central Phoenix, Mike, and it was crazy. The property was tiny. It was like 1,100 square feet, right? Brick house, and I really pushed it out. I was like, how do I push it out as much as possible? We're just going to go bananas. And at the time, it was like a $30,000, $35,000 assignment fee. I thought it was crazy. And we ended up getting one buyer. This guy literally moved in from Washington, Seattle, Washington, to Phoenix. He literally was out. I drove by the property a week later after we closed. He had his tractor out there and he had his wife. Him and his wife literally added 1,000 square feet. They got a couple subs, right? A couple subcontractors. Literally were living in this property that was totally, they lived in a hotel for a little bit, but they were literally building this house. And once it was livable, they were living in this house, fixing it up. And he spent the most because his budget for fixing it up was way lower, right? So we make these assumptions that everybody's like us, that we're the flipper and we don't want to do that work. And it's going to cost us $50,000 to do this rehab or whatever else. But really it's going to cost somebody else $35,000. So that, push your numbers. But that's true. And what was the ethical question? Contracted crew, the number of the developer or who contracted them ethical? Yeah, absolutely. Listen, you're asking permission to talk to somebody, to network with somebody. Hey, listen, I find off-market deals. I would love to bring it to whoever is renovating this house. What's the best way for me to communicate with them? If they don't want to give you the info, they don't have to give you the info.
Not just ethical, but if they got interest in that, which they do if they're they want to, be aware of other deals going on.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I hear it all the time from like people that are fix and flippers that if they get a really good contractor that when people come up sells the wholesaler or the wholesaler on sending it to their guy because they do a great job, because he's so smart, because he knows how to make quick decisions and everything. The contractors almost are like their sales guy to get more deals for the fix and flipper. It's genius. It's beautiful. I mean, that's what you want if you're fixing and flipping. You want your contractor out there finding you opportunities. And by the way, you're going to stay loyal to that contractor, and that contractor is going to get a lot of business, and that contractor is going to feel real secure in their business, because I'm telling you, the contracting world is a very, very, very insecure feeling business, because you never know when it's going to dry up, when things are going to be seasonal, all these other things. So having consistency in that business is key. Yep. Great question, Juan. Kev. Has a cash buyer ever tried to go behind your back? Yes. Oh, yeah. Yeah, Kev, it's really interesting, and that's one of the reasons, and I'll hit on this because I think this is important, and I gave this instruction to my support call yesterday with the TTP family, with the mentorship. If it's a really big deal, Kev, I'm going to close it as soon as possible. Okay, if it's a deal, if it's real big and real juicy, or if it's a multifamily deal, and I'll explain in a second, I'm going to close that deal as quick as possible, and then I'll blast it out. Okay, because if it's a big deal, I don't want any opportunity for somebody to slide in. Well, Brent, I don't have the money to be able to do that. Yes, you do. You do. In every area in town, in every market, there are private money lenders, okay? That'll typically, depending on your area, give you somewhere, I feel like I'm frozen.
Yeah, switch.
Okay? In the area that, okay, good. That in every market, in every area, did they hear the audio? Is the audio okay? Okay, we were just frozen on that. Okay, that there's hard money, private money lenders. And typically you got to put 20 to 30% down, and that's the funds that you raise from somebody. So imagine this, you've got a bunch of cash buyers, and you're talking to all these cash buyers, and you're like, okay, I can sell it to this cash buyer, but what if I just want to close this? Hey, Mr. Cash Buyer, you do incredible business. I'd love to partner with you on this big, juicy deal. Now, can you make the terms that you get 70%, they get 30, you get 75, they get 25, something like that? Maybe in there, maybe you get them a little bit of discount on what they can buy it at from you once you close on the deal. But your cash buyers can be an avenue for you to raise funds to be able to close on these deals so that somebody can't backdoor you. Okay, because it does happen, and some people have an interesting reputation for doing that in our market. Phoenix is kind of, known. There's a couple other areas that are really known for it. Florida's got a ton of different areas that are known for it. Texas has a bunch of areas that is known for it. So if you're feeling like nervous, especially if you were like in hard negotiations against another wholesaler or another cash buyer, and they're going to get pissed that you got that deal and you know it. The seller's like, oh man, they're very upset, but I wanted to work with you, Kev. You're amazing and handsome or beautiful. I don't know, I assume, and that's short for Kevin. But you close on that deal. You close on those deals where you feel like, oh, wow, this person's going to really try to torpedo this, or they're going to really get butthurt, and that happens the most with multifamily deals. The most with multifamily deals, because people get really butthurt. People get really upset if they can't get the multifamily deal. And I don't know why it's different than single family, but it is, in my experience. With multifamily deals, if it's a good, solid deal, close it, then sell it. All right? Do whatever you need to do. Fight, claw. I mean, just do whatever you need to raise the funds to be able to close that deal. Find somebody that you can squat up with in your market to be able to close those deals, because that's really, really, really important. On the other ones, when they try to go around, the best suggestion that I give you, Kev, is this, and this is really, really important stuff here, important information. You need to tell the seller, once they sign the contract, listen, as soon as I open up escrow with this, there might be people coming trying to sweet talk you into working with them, trying to get them, promising you more money or something like that. We are committed. You're committed to me. I'm committed to you. They're literally trying to get you to breach this contract, which is illegal, right? I think it's illegal, right? To breach a contract, there's ramifications, whatever. Just talk to an attorney if you need to. I'm not one. Anyway, but they're trying to get you to breach this contract, and I don't want to get into any kind of litigation. So just tell them that you're working with me, give them my number, and I will take care of anybody that comes across your path. So just future pace them. If that's happening to you, just tell the seller upfront. Again, another upfront expectation. People are going to come. They're going to try to promise you more money. They're going to try to tell you that they're better to work with, and then they're going to reduce the amount that they can give you, and it gets really messy. So let's just stay committed. I'm committed to you. You're committed to me, and let's move forward. But if anybody tries to reach out, you give them my number. Say that you're working with me. And that's how it's worked out really, really, really well in our business. And people literally like, oh, I see that you're selling it, no big deal. But I'm just telling you, this guy's like trying to like torpedo you or something, you know? So, yeah. Anything? Good? Is that good? We got time? All right. Let's do this. Tom Krol.
I am.
Let's do this, man. You are live. How many people do we have? Couple under? All right.
58.
Okay. We're live, Tom. We're talking cash buyers. Let's open this up. When you were training, when you had the Wholesaling Inc. program, the most prolific, right? I went through it. Everybody went through it. What was the cash buyer training there?
Yeah, I mean, cash buyers are a dime a dozen. Cash buyers are a dime a dozen, and the wholesaler who has the biggest list makes the most money. This is simple stuff. Do not overcomplicate this simple business, right? Wholesaling is easy. The art of consistently finding discounted properties. Wholesalers are complicated. So here's the key, right? Before you get started, in my opinion, is you build that cash buyer list big. I want at least 150 people on that cash buyer list. These are real estate investors who have money, and a lot of times they spend a lot of time trying to vet the list, right? Find out exactly what they want and all. No, don't do that. It's a waste of time. You just want people who raise their hand and say, yes, I'm a real estate investor. If you have a good deal, I have the cash to buy it. The real vetting will start when you get the deal. So don't waste a lot of time vetting a cash buyer list. I want you to put revenue in first position. So go out there and you build a list. And here is the key with the cash buyer list is you got a big, and then you've got to remember to continually build it. Right? That is the key that everybody forgets is anybody who has a small list or a stagnant list, they have small, teeny, tiny little assignment fees, little tiny ones like that.
Yep.
Because cash buyers, they're going to guilt you into working for them as this quasi-employee, or sometimes they use a cute little term called bird dog, which means you won't reach financial freedom. That's what it means. Bird dog means that you just got out of a job that had benefits to a job that doesn't. So you got to build a big fat cash buyer list, and you got to keep it. You got to keep building it all the time. You got to remember that cash buyers are a dime a dozen. When you're building that list and they start to ask you questions that you don't really know the answer to, do not act as if. Fake it till you make it is right. It's the worst advice ever given in any business. Do not fake it till you make it. Be a truth teller and a truth seeker. You know what, Mr. Cash Buyer? You know what, Mrs. Cash Buyer? I don't really know what I'm doing. I just got this thing. I paid a lot of money for this internet course. All day long, I'm pounding the phone, talking to homeowners, looking for one who wants to sell their home at a discount. If I find one, can I let you know about it? And then, and when they say yes, write down their name, their cell phone number, and their email address, and move on to the next cash buyer. By the way, Brent, it's awesome to be on this show. You're a rock star. I'm Tom Krol, everybody. It's good to meet you. Sorry for jumping right in, but that's
I love
that's
it, Tom.
my habit.
we've been going hard for an hour. It's been absolutely bananas. It's been a lot of fun. Guys, everybody out there watching right now, if you have questions for Tom, this is the time. Make sure that you're posting. If he's saying something and something is springing up in your mind as a question, I want you to ask it. That's the point of this entire show. That's why I bring on the best of the best in Tom Krol, Todd Toback, everybody else that I bring on. They're the absolute best to answer these questions. So let me ask a couple questions myself here, Tom, because I was going, when you have a buyer that is aggressive and they're like, how do you deal with them when they're like, give me the deal, give me the deal, give me the deal, give me the deal. Don't send it to anybody. Send it to me first. Give me the deal. Give me the deal. You don't. I'll be your best buyer. I'll be the best. I'm the biggest. Everybody knows me. I am the god of real estate investing in this market. How do you approach that? How do you make sure that you don't become this person's cash buyer employee, the CBE?
Right. Well, the way you do it, right, is you're a truth teller and a truth seeker, and you make the cash buyers play by your rules. Nobody sees the opportunity early. Nobody. Because if a cash buyer calls you and says, hey, how do I get in early? How do I see this early? What's really the price I need to be at in order to make this work? What they're giving you an opportunity to do is to be a liar, right? Because they know if you are of weak character and you do that, you're going to do that for everybody. So they're going to lose respect for you because they're going to know that this guy is just, he's not really an owner. He's just chasing cash. He's not seeking the condition that produces the financial freedom. So don't be weak. They play by your rules, and they will have more respect for you if you say, this is the window. If you can't make it, don't worry about it. I'll get you on the next deal. After you see it, you have X amount of time to put in your highest and best offer. Once you do, you got X amount of hours to leave a non-refundable money deposit with the title company. If you can't make it, don't worry about it. And by the way, a lot of times when people are trying to do that, what they do is, first of all, they allow exceptions, which you should never do. Cash buyers have to play by your rules. The other thing is a lot of people, they waste a lot of time. I mean, there's so many different directions I can go with here, Brent, right? But
go.
What you are. So let me just dive in, right? Because I love this stuff. So number one is you have got to make sure that they play by your rules. That's rule number one. As soon as you break that rule, they're going to know you're weak and they're going to go for blood. Cash buyers are cash buyers for a reason, right? Because they know what they're doing. Mm-hmm. Number two is when you are putting this, a lot of people, they just waste a lot of time here in what a lot of people have. They have this term. It's an acronym. It's ARV. And ARV, I'm sure your audience knows, ARV stands for Assumptions Reduce Victories, right? So when you are putting a property under contract, don't worry about ARV, because any cash buyer who runs their cash buying business by what a new wholesaler tells them the ARV is not going to be a cash buyer very long. So this is wholesaling where we are in current market value. So if you want to move fast and you want to do a lot of deals, it's what is the property worth as is right now and putting it under contract for as little as possible, and then selling that contract or buying and selling the property as fast as possible. Nobody cares what ARV is. The seller definitely doesn't care. The buyer knows you don't know what the heck you're talking about. So stop wasting time doing research and getting back to people and just put the deal under contract. Have the uncomfortable conversation. And that's another thing. Every single successful wholesaler I know, every wealthy person, every rich person, all of these business leaders, wealthy people have awkward conversations. So if you are going to allow a cash buyer to push you around, this is not, you need to then make a decision that I'm going to go work for somebody else. Scott Alexander says this in Rhinoceros Success. He says, if you're a cow, be a happy cow. But if you're a rhino and you're going to charge it one thing and you're just going to get out there and work hard, then go, and there you go. There's that rhino. Bam! But You have to be able to have that awkward conversation, and you can't be pushed around or guilted into becoming a bird dog. So how do you deal with an aggressive cash buyer? You don't. And here's the secret. Even if they seem like they say, oh, you're greedy and you're just going for the highest price and you need to leave meat on the bone. I don't even know what that means, meat on the bone. There's no meat on the bone. If you buy from me, there's no meat on the bone. I'm sorry. It's just the way it is. I'm getting highest and best price. That's what I do. As a wholesaler, I buy it for as a real estate investor, my job is to buy it for as best a price as possible and to sell it for as best a price as possible. That's what I do as an investor. That's what an investor does. He buys it cheap and he sells it for more. So don't be guilted into it. Don't be controlled. You have to be willing to have awkward conversations and build that. You need to create a feeding frenzy around your deals every single time. You can't leave money on the table. And if you have a small list of a few people who control you as a bird dog, it will not be a good journey. You won't enjoy it, and you won't hit financial freedom. So that's how I deal with it.
I mean, you're cutting yourself across the board. You'll get 50% as much as you should from every deal if you're just working with 3 or 4 of the same buyers. Now, something that I talked about, Tom, and which I'm really pushing, and I think it's something that you and I are in alignment with, is on really good deals, really big deals, close them yourself as fast as possible and then send it out, right? And listen, that's very intimidating, Tom, real quick. That's very, very intimidating. Yeah. I would be intimidated if I heard this and I haven't done a deal, or I'm just getting going and I've done a couple things. I don't have a huge experience, library of experience with speaking to wealthy people or people that have money. Like, I'd be very, very intimidated to go out and try to raise those funds to close those deals. But you tell me, 1, how important is it? And 2, how would you go about raising the funds to be able to close deals if you don't have it yourself?
Okay, so first of all, there's so much, what Brent just said, guys, there's so much to look into. So let me just say this. I've coached thousands of wholesalers nationwide, and here's what I can tell you. Do you know which ones have the highest net worth? And which ones are still on a hamster wheel all the time and never really attaining financial freedom? The ones who attain financial freedom close. The ones who buy are real estate investors. Wholesaling is a stepping stone. It is not a permanent business plan. In my estimation, and I'm speaking from, this is not my opinion, this is a fact. If you speak to the wealthiest people in the country who are in real estate, they close on their deals.
And by the way, guys, now, Tom talks to the wealthiest people in real estate. I talk to the wealthiest people in real estate, people that would never be on a show, people that are very just behind the, the scenes, but they close. Go ahead, Tom.
And I think the key here is that this is just a recognition of your inner power, of who you are, that you're strong, you're powerful, you're made in the image of God. You can close a deal. So the first thing is a mindset. You've got to wrap your brain around the fact that you have to mature your business into closing. Yes, if you're broke and you're just starting out and you come from abject poverty and you don't have food on the table and you need to assign a few deals, great. As long as your lawyer says it's okay, you do what you got to do. But you have to start to mature your business to actually closing, even if you're selling 20 seconds later. So the first thing I just want to address is, if you want to become wealthy and you really want to be well fixated in the 1% financially, start closing your deals. And here's the good news about the money. If you think that cash buyers are a dime a dozen, hard money lenders are literally a dime a dozen. If you've got a good deal and you've got a contract and you're waiting a contract to close on it, just do a Google search for hard money lenders. You will have a line around the block of people who want to lend to you, and just keep asking them. They're going to talk about 2 things. They're going to give you an interest rate, and they're going to give you points up front. It's just as a way of saying, like, it's a fee for me lending you money. Just talk to 3, 4, 5, 12, 18 of them, get the best rate. And here's the best thing of all. Because the cash lender, the hard money lender, private money, it doesn't really matter. It's all the same. A person or organization is going to give you money to buy this property. When you are doing that, because they're the ones putting out the money and they know what they're doing, it is a great way for them to vet your deal. This is like a safety net, right? Because what they're doing is they're saying, I'm going to lend. They don't really care about you unless you're a risk. What they really care about is the deal. They're lending on the deal. So when they say, yes, okay, I'll lend on 123 Main Street, that's just another way to validate, like, hey, I do have a good deal because Johnny, Sally, and Bobby are fighting each other to lend me money on it. So, Google hard money. There's a wonderful book if you want to deep dive the subject a little bit more, it's a tiny little book. It's called Getting the Money by Susan Lassiter Lyons. She'll show you, this is legit. She will show you in 30 days how to raise $250,000, and it is easy peasy lemon squeezy. If two guys like Brent and I can do it, you can definitely do it. And so it's simple. It's simple, and you should. But again, get in, start closing your deals, elevate your business, elevate your mindset, become an investor. And that will change the game for you. This is from speaking to people who wholesale all over the country. The ones with the highest net worth are closing their deals. They're more likely to cherry pick a deal. They're more likely to rehab a deal. They're more likely to move into seller financing and subject to deals. They're more likely to move into apartment buildings. The people who are just constantly, year after year after year, doing assignments, even if they're making a lot of money, for some, they're all broke. They're all broke. And even if they're making $200,000, $300,000, $400,000 a year, they just seem to go broke. So start closing. That's the most important takeaway from that. I can't hear you, Brent. Can you hear me? Did we lose audio? No good. I can't hear you.
I got you.
So while Brent's figuring that out, guys, I'll just tell you, you can Google the hard money portion of this.
You got me, Tom?
I got you now. Yes.
Sorry, I put my hands in my pocket and I hit off this microphone. So, one thing that my team and I are putting together, Tom, is a graphic that is showing kind of like the real estate investing tree. And at the roots of that tree is finding discounted property, right? That's the foundation. You learn how to do that. You figure out how to find discounted property. That is the start of everything. Now there's different branches, right? You've got rental property branch, right? You've got fix and flip branch, you've got development branch, and you've got the finance branch, right? And that's being the money guy. And people can decide where they want to go, but you need to start growing your tree, growing your business. A lot of people are just staying underground with their roots, which is wholesaling, which is just finding. That's all wholesaling is. You want to explain it to somebody at a barbecue?
It's an acquisition. It's you always want to have an acquisition portal in your real estate business,
yep.
Right? But that's not the entire business. I don't know a lot of people who sell, right, a wholesaling business. Right. There's a reason for that. I know a lot of people who sell brokerages. I know a lot of people who sell businesses. I don't know a lot of wholesalers who sell wholesale. So yes, it is an acquisition strategy. And if you're just starting out of the gate, there's no better place to start than wholesaling. But yeah, you have to, you definitely want to, you want to elevate it and grow from it, and always keep that, right, that process of deals coming in at a discount. But yeah, brother.
Yeah.
Absolutely, I agree.
Well, that's it. It's just progressing up there and making sure that you're just not staying at that sourcing the deals business, and you're growing. And that happens when you're actually closing on these deals and you become an investor, when you become the owner of these properties. And we see it. We see it all the time. And this might lead to a lot of questions, but there's states that require a license, right? There's states that require a license if you're going to do wholesaling. That's going to become more and more common. What are people doing in those states that I talk to? They close their deals. They close it. Business
Right.
hasn't stopped. Business has actually increased for the people in those markets because they're closing on deals, and other people are in real estate school getting their license, waiting 90 days, 120 days, taking the test, doing all these. People are cleaning house in those markets, closing on deals because, you don't need a license to buy property, right? You buy property. So.
Yeah, I mean, there's no doubt about it. And as those, I love, states like Illinois where they put those requirements in place. It's great because it's like if you live in that state, it's the universe's way of shaking the tree and saying, who really wants it? Who really wants it? Who's trying to pay a ransom to get their kids back? Who wants it the worst? Because it's those guys and girls, right? I mean, it's like anything else. Whoever gets the most results wins. And you've got to be willing to go and do the hard work. If you really want it, you got to just go out there and do it. If they put an obstacle in front of you, like getting a license, go and get a license. Whatever your attorney says to do, go and do. But if you know how to consistently find discounted properties in your market, I don't care what you do, you are going to be a multi-millionaire, because that is the most valuable. Real estate is the most valuable and desirable thing that we have to work on. Yes, you can do it with cars. Yes, you can do it with watches and televisions and VCRs and antiques, right? Because that's what wholesaling is. But the reason we do homes is because homes are the most valuable and the most desirable. So if you can get good at finding those properties, those off-market deals and what is it really? It's an exchange. It is speed and convenience in exchange for price. And so here's what you got to remember, guys. Most people who own a home don't want to sell it. And most people who want to sell a home don't want your lowball price. So this is a volume game. You have to follow the rules of marketing. It's got to be big because most people don't want your product or service. It's got to be consistent. Every single week, Christmas, Kwanzaa, Hanukkah, 4th of July, Memorial Day, your marketing has got to go out. It doesn't matter if you cold call, direct mail, bandit signs, radio ads, PPC, SEO, Facebook ads, door knocking. It doesn't matter. It's got to be one channel. You got to dominate it. You got to have a fast response time. Rule number 4 and number 5 is it's got to be trackable. Dan Kennedy 101. This is not about your ability to brand. Branding is a result of marketing. It is not the reason for it. So it's got to be trackable. So it's got to be big, consistent, singular, one channel. It's got to be trackable, and it's got to have a fast response time. I mean, if you follow those rules, this business is brain dead simple.
I love it. And I love that you said go with the one channel that you're going to really go into. It reminds me of this quote that I just heard from Jack Welch, the old GE CEO. And he says, dance with the girl that you brought to the dance. Right? Don't go and try to dance with all the other girls, right? Or you'll dance with nobody. Dance with the girl that you brought to the dance. And I think that is so important, to be focused and to just go and make sure that you are building up a system that's trackable, that is consistent, and that is building up that pipeline so that you can start going on this kind of trajectory as opposed to just messing around, right? So that's what you do. You stay focused and don't let all the shiny objects, don't let that new girl that just, got transferred to your school from some other school distract you from your dance. Dance with the girl you brought to the dance. And I think that's really, really, really important. So, yeah. Awesome. Tom,
yeah, there's no doubt about it. Yeah, I mean, I'm totally agree.
Just to put a bow on this thing, and I'll let you go. Because it looks beautiful there. Tom's in Port St. Lucie, Florida, the sleepiest, beautiful town in Florida. And I'll let you go. But give me just one tip, one way that people can find a cash buyer in their market and add them to their database.
Yeah, well, the best way is, in my opinion, is direct mail. Direct mail by just closing all of because those are proven buyers. So you just do a search of all of the cash transactions in your market. And the best way to add cash buyers to your list is to pick up a book and read it. Because did you hear what Brent just said about reading the book by Jack Welch? You know how I know who he is? Because I've read a book by Jack Welch. If you look at my counter, I just called Brent before. I just said, read this book, Matchmakers. I've got books everywhere. Read. Don't say you want to be rich and don't read, because all rich people read. If you go through my phone right now, every single text message from a person who has a $50 million net worth or more is all books. It's pictures of books. Hey, did you see this thing I just highlighted in my book? Read. Don't talk about wanting to be rich if you're not reading. Not Audible. Audible is great. Pick up a book and read it. It's the most important muscle that you have. You see Brent's arms, his biceps popping out of that t-shirt? You know what else? It's right up here. This is the one that he really has, and that's why Brent's successful. That's why I'm successful. There's no secrets in this life. Pick up a book and read it.
Love it, Tom. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm going to try to convince Tom to come on once a month. He's absolutely incredible. If you guys are in the Clubhouse app, you need to follow this man. He is in there giving incredible value in Clubhouse. Tom Krol, Krol. You can't miss him. He's got a big orange background and a big, beautiful face. So, Tom, thank you so much. Everybody out there in Clubhouse, make sure you follow him. And until next time, Tom, you're the best. Thank you. Thank you.
God bless, brother. See you later.
See ya. Incredible. There you go. That was great. That was great. Tom's the best, right? I mean, he just hits you and hits you and hits you. By the way, Tom can do that for hours. I've literally seen Tom do that for hours. Tom, you get Tom going on some sort of book or some sort of business strategy or something, he will talk for hours with that kind of level of enthusiasm, and I love it. That's my vibe. Yeah. Yep. So what do we got? Yep. Questions. And guys, if you want me to comp something, let me know. We can certainly pull something up and comp a property, but make sure that it is an ugly property, and we will comp that. We got two comps. Make sure that you are subscribing. Tom Krol comes on every single month. You don't want to miss that. He does not do a lot of video interviews. He loves it specifically for this channel. So make sure that you get all that juice. Subscribe to the channel right now. All right? So we'll go, let's comp something. Let me make sure my prop stream hasn't logged me out. Yep, it has logged me out.
We got some gross ones.
We got some gross ones.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, now you're speaking my language. All right, pop it up here. Here we are, deal machine. I'm sorry, prop stream at TTP data. I'm losing my mind. 842 East 12th Avenue. Columbus. It's not popping up. 12th Avenue. Columbus. I'm not getting it, guys. 842 East 12th Avenue, right? I don't know if I have to put a period in there. Columbus. Nope, not popping up, guys. I'm going to need another one. Did it come up on Zillow?
And Redfin and all of that.
All right, let me see if it's something goofy. Let me put it in here real quick. What is the address again?
842 East 12th Avenue.
It's an ugly one.
12th Avenue, and that is Columbus. Let's take a look. That's why, because you need number 44 in there, guys. Come on. What are we doing? Number 44. Let's see if that pulls up. Nope, still not pulling up. Is this the one that you guys pulled up here?
Yeah.
Okay, got it.
44, that is it. On realtor.com.
Come on. Let me see if I can copy and paste this so that we can get the full info here. Paste. Nope. I don't know why it's not in PropStream. Interesting. Let me take a look at this. Let me just look at this thing real quick. It's off market. Look at this property. I love it. I'm going to look at this property. Whoa, that's zoomed in too much. Here we go. Okay, so what am I looking at here? I'm looking at a boarded up house, and Stephanie says it has been boarded up for 6 years. All right, I'm taking a look. Interesting. Are we right by a freeway here? Is that what's going on? This thing is going crazy. I don't know where it went. All right, let me see this thing. It looks like it's probably by a major road here. Let me.
Brent,
Yep.
right 844 East 12th Avenue and Prop.
844.
Yeah.
Nope. Nope. Not pulling up for some reason. Hey, prop stream, update your data. Come on, player. Okay, Street View, we've got that. We're looking at this thing. Here we go. Good. Yep, right next to the freeway. Do you see this? We're on the freeway. That's what I'm talking about. Yeah, you see that big street. So obviously this is going to affect it because it's right on that side. So with anything, with these properties that are right by a freeway, you got to take a 10 to 20% discount. This is fine. We can count this, guys. A 10 to 20% discount on this property here because it's right there on the freeway. All right. Now it's boarded up. Zillow has it at how much, guys? What did Zillow have it at? 70. Realtors got it at 70. What is the, who asked the question? Stephanie?
Yeah.
Stephanie, what is the price that the seller wants for the property? I'm going to say fixed up is 70, but that's assuming that it's a property that is in the middle of a neighborhood. So I'd say that you're probably at 60,000 with a property that big. It looks like it's probably between 1,000 and 1,300 square feet, just based on the size that I'm looking at here. I would say that you're probably 20, 25 in. I would have to get this thing at like $5,000. Yeah, 5 or 10 grand is what I would go in at and see if I can get that property. You'd have to see if it's got equity. That's without being able to pull it up on PropStream for some reason. That's very strange. I'm not sure what's going on there.
The address is like all over the place.
Is it?
It's pulling up like multiple addresses on different sites.
Yeah.
So it's not PropStream.
It's the address. Yeah.
So that's a good point to bring up is
Yeah.
before you write a contract, make sure you have the exact.
Make sure you got the right address. Yeah, for sure. Yep.
This one's just weird.
Yep. All right, cool. What's another one? All right. 244. This is a cool. Atlanta. Good. This one popped up. Fantastic. Okay, let's take a look at this. I always like looking at the aerials, guys. I like looking, where does this property sit? Sits perfectly. Look at this. It's got a nice, now listen, this is a very thin lot. You can see the lot lines aren't even matching up, but this is a very thin lot. There's a good sized backyard here. I would pull my little guy here just to get a nice area, a front shot of this. And I'm looking, okay, yes. Now we're getting some properties that I love. Okay. Not sure what's going on there. So it's this one. It's got some graffiti. It's got some overgrowth. It's got it's boarded up. Interesting thing. Did you guys notice that? Did you see what was behind me here? Did you guys see it? It is a dumpster. Holy cow! That means that this property. What is going on? This property right here is getting flipped. All right, or something's getting here. Maybe it's just getting trashed out. So that would be an interesting comp here. Okay, let's look at the property details. Now, look, they've owned it for 5 years. They bought it cash. All right, this is non-owner occupied. Now, listen, this looks like the property is boarded up, right? This property is boarded up. They've owned it for 5 years. Why haven't they done any work to it? Seriously, why haven't they done any work to it? That's the question that I'm wondering. And this is exactly why. Ba-ba-da-ba-ba-da-ba. They bought it for nothing. They bought it for absolutely nothing and we're frozen. They bought it for nothing, for $4,000 in 2015 at a foreclosure auction, and they haven't done anything to this property. Very interesting. That's great. So they're probably going to want a decent return. Now, in my experience, if we can get the camera if it's not frozen, in my experience, people that buy properties very cheap, for under $5,000, and they're investors, what is their motivation? What's their motivation? Well, their motivation is, well, they want to get They want to sell it. They want to get rid of it. They don't want to rehab it. Okay, are they going to be reasonable? If I pop this up, if I'm making my calls and I pop this deal up, I'm hitting them with a price right now because I do not want to waste time understanding what this guy wants for this property. Because if you ask the question, well, what are you looking to get for this property? How much would you take for this property? Whatever it is. And they go, I don't know. Give me your best offer, right? Now we're playing the game. I'm going to throw out something quick because I'm going to disqualify this. I don't, unless something happened, unless somebody inherited this property, unless somebody is going through probate. Well, they obviously didn't inherit it. They've owned it 5 years. If they're in the process of probate, if they're going through some sort of financial turbulence in their life, then I'm looking to kind of get more into it. But I would make the assumption after seeing tens of thousands of properties that you need to hit this guy with a low offer right now. Say to them, properties like yours in the area are selling for around blank, whatever blank is, and see if he would consider an offer on that property. Now let's get to comping this thing. All right, we're going both. I'm going to get rid of the I'm going to go 3 months out. What's today? The 3rd? Boom. I'm going to go 90 days, and I'm going to look specifically in this market, right? I want to look for properties that are single family here, because this is a single family, and this area has a lot of multifamily or duplexes. I don't want to comp with duplexes. Remember, we need to stay in this area. We need to stay in the box. Location is so incredibly important. Floor plan is so incredibly important. Size is so important. Age of home, so important. All of these things are steps in this process that are really important so that you can understand what this property will sell for once it is renovated. All right, so we've got some good comps in this area, right? They're all within the square footage. They're all within this size, and they're all within about the last 90 days. Now we look at this. The last thing that I would do is this thing was built before 1930. I'm going to put 1950 in here. I think a lot of appraisers would give that room there of about 20 years. And I'm going to just see how that affects my comps. Now the average comps here have it at 163 fixed up, which is fantastic. I mean, this guy got a smoking property in a smoking deal. Unless there is something very, very, very off about this neighborhood, this is solid. It looks like you've got some apartments behind you. That's going to ding you a little bit depending on the quality and the cost of those apartments. If they're really nice apartments, it's not too bad, but typically people don't want to be backing up to apartments. If it's a rougher or lower priced apartments, it's going to affect your value. So, but look at some of these. Look at these ones that are starting to pop off at the 250s and the 190s and all this. This is really interesting. I want to see where these line up with this property. Okay, so these 250s, the 3 and number 2 and number 3 are over here. Let's take a look here. So you got 2, I think 2's right here. It's kind of hidden behind 1. Yep, it's right there. It looks like a good property. Looks similar. Good neighborhood. It doesn't back to apartments. I want to take a look at these 250s and see what is going on here. Whoa, look at this beauty. Holy cow. Look at that. Hey, what house did you buy? You can't miss it. It's the it's the bright blue one. What? Yeah, don't even worry. I'm not even going to give you my address. I'm going to just give you the street. Look at this. They decked this thing out, guys. But listen, this is potential in this area. This is telling me that this area now has potential for $250,000 for a property. Now I'm looking at this. Now this is a 3-2. What is our property? This is going to really affect it. Or, you're going to see that obviously the properties that have more bedrooms and are more functional are going to get more. Now we have a 3-1. This is going to play with us. We got to find a way to get that second bathroom in there, or it's going to dramatically affect. That's the difference between probably a $200,000 house and a $250,000 house. That's how big of a jump a bathroom is. Because believe it or not, if you've got only one bathroom, it is people fight over that bathroom all the time, and it turns into a mess. So if you can convert that to a 2, you've got potential to push this out. I would look at the floor plan of this, and I would see if there is an area that you can tie in another bathroom into the 1,300 square feet that they have. There probably is. 1,300 square feet is a good size house. It's not a tiny house. So I would look to do that, because look what happens when you do that. Plus, this lot size is bigger, right? Now, I don't know if this is in a very desirable historic area, but if it's not, I would say, this property, you can push this thing if it's looking really beautiful with 1 bathroom. I would say probably stick around that 180 to 200 mark. If it's looking great, then the 250, 225 to 250 mark. So let's just say worst case scenario, let's say that this thing sells for 180 once it's fixed up with 1 bathroom. Let's take a look at this. Let's draw this thing up, okay? So we've got our ARV. Microphone's going crazy. ARV is 180, and this can range. If you can get a second bathroom in there, you can push this value. So I want to know if we can ask who posted this. I want to know if we can get the price that they want. Okay, and then we're going to times that by, we're going to need $20,000. So let's times this by 0.06 to get rid of the closing costs and fees. Let's subtract a minimum of $20,000 in profit that a flipper is going to want. Flipper?
That's 149.2.
This is 149.2?
Yeah.
Okay.
It was seed free.
And then let's subtract, it is a 1,300 square foot, boarded up, depends what it needs. I'm going to assume that it needs to look beautiful and decked out as the other one. So I'm going to put in there 30,000 unless, does it need a roof, guys?
He says it's 1.5 bathroom and they want 135K.
Now we're playing. Interesting. I would do that deal. Yeah. I would convert that half bathroom into a full bathroom, and I'd sell it for over 200. Yep.
His name is Sea Freezer.
Yeah, Steve, I think that's, I mean, you've got,
Sea Freezer 99.
Steve Freezer. Yeah, I like those numbers. Well, let's show you why I like those numbers.
Minus 30 or 119.2 there.
Yep. Yep, but he's got a second bathroom.
Yeah.
So I'm going to put this thing up at,
He's saying it's a full gut.
full gut. Like it needs everything. So I'm going to put it at 50 then, Steve. All right. So let's say that you get, that other one went for 250. Let's say we could push this one. It's got a bigger lot, but it has the apartments. It has the apartments, which is going to throw this off. So I'm going to put this thing at 225. Oh, and I'm going to erase it. 225. I mean, how hot is Atlanta? Hot. Right? Yeah, 225. Now we start playing around. Now we can do the 0.84. What does that put us at, Mike?
189.
That puts us at 189, right? Okay, so that is the profit. This is profit and closing costs. Closing costs. And by the way, I think that if somebody really smart in Atlanta does this deal, you could probably push this to 235, 250. You're at 189 here. We're subtracting that 50K. It's getting a little tight, right? So let's say it's a 50K rehab. We're at 139 for the wholesale price. So he's not unrealistic. I would say, what does he want, 135? Woo, I would do that deal. I would do that deal all day long. I would say that if he wouldn't budge, go for it and just try to push it out at 145, 150 and see if you can get somebody that sees the potential of a bigger price there. But holy cow, did that guy get a smoking deal.
The guy that just remodeled that deal.
Yeah. Go for the guy that had the dumpster in the front, or the one that sold this one. That's what you're talking about? Yeah. Oh, that was the other property that had the. Yeah. Go after this property. Go after the. Let's look at this one again. This guy. Details. Right. Allow. What I would do here is I would go down to my MLS details. Hello. Here we go. I'm calling this number right here, and I am finding who sold this deal. Yeah, or just look it up. Just Google it. You can find their info on Zillow or Realtor.com. This is the other thing, guys, that I'm looking at, just for value-wise. This says that it's in the now in hot Washington Park. If this is not in the Washington Park area, or if it's in a different neighborhood, just look and see how many active properties are out in the surrounding areas. If this market's blowing up and there's not a lot of inventory, guess what happens? It starts expanding into the outer markets, and those start getting those values as well. It happens all the time, and that's what I would do. I'd reach out to the owner here, or the agent here, and see if they would consider, because that's a tiny, tiny, tiny lot. You've got a bigger lot. It does back to apartments, so that's going to throw it off a little bit. And yeah, I would do that deal. And what I would do is I would see if they would take 130 and then push it out at 140, 145, maybe 150. If I have a conversation with a real estate agent that I would know, that I would reach out to in that market and see what the full potential, if I get this thing to a 2-bathroom, what can it sell for? You've already got half. It shouldn't be too tough to figure it out, and rock and roll. Great one. Great job, Alejandra. I love it. Did we knock it out?
Yep.
That was a good one.
She did it.
Yeah, let's go. All right, let's go to general questions. Do we have any more general questions?
Hold
Okay.
on, Brent, real quick.
Yep.
Can you break down the 0.84 number? We just get a lot of questions about that, a lot of emails about exactly what that is.
This is 10% profit. So I subtract 10% off the top, 10% here. So the minimum, sorry guys, the minimum that they're looking for is 10% of this price, or a minimum of $20,000, especially in a market like Atlanta. So I'm subtracting $25,000 off the top by, it's essentially 0.9. I'm multiplying this by 0.9, which takes 10% off the top, and then another 6% for any of the closing costs, the title and escrow fees, let's put me on this one, Matt. The title and escrow fees, the agent fees, all of those things play into this, play into the way that a cash buyer is going to evaluate that deal. And so that's what this is. The 0.84 is here. What the broad stroke, every real estate investing book and most of the training for the past 40 years says use 0.7 here. Guess what? You use 0.7, you're going to get beat like a drum, because you're going to be way lower in what you can do, and somebody else is going to come in and get that deal and make 10, 15, 20,000, because investors are, yes, listen, is your investor going to say, I need to make 15, 20%? I need to make at least 50,000 on a flip. I need to make 40,000 on a flip. Guess what? They're not your best buyers, especially not in Atlanta. There's other buyers that will go in and be absolutely happy doing 10 deals a year, making $25,000, and they have the crews, they got it all set up, and they make $250,000 a year flipping houses because they want to make $25,000 a deal, or 10% on a deal. I mean, obviously that goes up as you get into bigger markets. Now, if you're in a tighter market, if your average sale price is more like 150, 200, that's why I build in the minimum 20,000 that somebody's going to be looking for a flip. Unless you're in a tiny market, if you're in a small market and there's only 4 or 5 flippers and they beat you up and they all, like, you know, collaborate together to not buy deals from wholesalers, or not, you know, they need massive discounts, then you need to think about getting into another market. The bigger markets, 10%. I would say anything up to anything 100,000 and above. This is what they're looking for. 100,000 population and above in the markets are looking for a 10% minimum and 20,000 minimum. on the smaller deals. Now, obviously, that changes if you're going after a rental property. You can play with that a little bit more if the cash flow works. Just make sure that you're subtracting out the repairs that need to happen to the property. If you're going after a more rental market where the owners are looking to add it to their portfolio as opposed to fix and flippers. But I would say the biggest deals. I wouldn't say, I know. The biggest deals that you're going to get that are going to springboard you and turn your business into a rocket ship are going to be people that are doing fix and flips or doing renovations to live in it, or the property needs a lot of work. So it's up for discussion, but across the board, this is what makes the superstars the superstars. They work off this.
And Brent, those the closing costs, those are closing costs that are paid when the flipper resells the property.
And when they buy.
Remember,
when we are approaching a property owner, we're saying, hey, listen, this is a net offer. We'll pay the closing costs. There's no real estate commissions. This is the price. This is an as-is price for your property. Just like, I thought that was really cool and really smart of what Tom said. It's market price. It's not ARV. What is the price? It's market price. What's the market price? Well, who's the market? The buyers are the market. You're the market. So you determine the price, okay? So, that is what it is. Market price is much different than ARV. ARV is what happens when you fix it up, and it shows you the potential.
So with your offer price equation,
yeah.
If the ARV, the after repair value, is $225,000,
yeah.
What you're saying is the cash buyer, the flipper, they want to make 10% of the ARV with a minimum of $20,000.
That's
so
it.
you take that off the top.
Yep.
And then what you do is you take off 6% of the $225, because that's going to be the cost they have to pay for agents and closing costs and stuff like that.
Yep.
And that leaves you with that $189.
Yep.
And then you take off what it costs
The
you to
repairs.
repair it.
Yep.
And then that leaves you with where you come in at where you can sell the thing.
Yep. Repairs.
At $139.
And this is the wholesale price.
That's right.
And then you subtract how much you want to make. I suggest a minimum $10,000 for what you want to make on a deal.
Got it. So, and that would be $129,000. That's what you would offer the seller.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Cool.
Yep. So he's there. I think it's a great deal. Even at $135, if they won't budge at all, I think you can push value on it if you can show that you can get $250 if they get a second bathroom in there. So obviously it's really beat up, and they're at. Talk about. Listen, if anybody, this is a perfect example. If anybody questions the opening line of this show that finding discounted property is the most proven path to financial freedom, look at the owner of this property, Mike. Look at the owner of this. He bought it for less than $4,000 5 years ago. That's a return of 20 times in 5 years, in just under 6 years. Every day of the week, man. A deal of a lifetime. Robert Kiyosaki is my favorite quote from him. The deal of a lifetime happens about once a week. Guys, Cash Buyer Pack. That's what we're talking about today. Make sure that you download it. TTP Insider, the Cash Buyer Pack. It's going to show you how to build your first 100 cash buyers. Like Tom was saying, the first 150 are critical. We've got it so that you can get your first 100 step by step, and then you can start doing some creative things to really explode your business. It's all in there at ttpinsider.com. So, absolutely. Incredible. That was a good comp. That was really good. I think that's real. It's a great situation. It was a rundown property. You gave us the real nitty gritty. Now go lock up that deal. Go get that locked up. I'd love for you to share your success next week on the show. If we have any successes, if you've locked up a deal, if you've sold a deal, if you've made any money this week, I want to be, or made any progress, if you've made your first cold call, if you went on your first appointment, if you're progressing in your real estate business, down your real estate entrepreneurial path, I want to ring this bell. Make sure you comment right now. Don't be hidden behind this screen here. Participate. That's what this is all about. We are a group. We're a small group, and we are loud. So make sure that you share that with me so that we can ring this bell. I'm going to ring this bell for my team. We locked up an incredible deal. It is, I think that Jeremy sold it for $39,000. We locked up another one that we're going to close. It's got a tenant in it, and it is, we got it at a ridiculous. We got it at 120, worth 250. Fantastic. It's going to be a huge deal for us. So I'm going to warm this thing up with a little for my team that are out there kicking ass every day. So, yeah.
I'll take some more questions.
Yeah, questions.
Yep.
JDN, what happens when you accept a verbal offer from one buyer and another buyer offers $10K more? Can I offer the first buyer some cash to back out? Well, this is reputation, right? This is the reputation. If you commit to somebody verbally, then commit to them. I mean, don't go back. Your word is your bond. So if you're like, hey, listen, this is what happened. I'll give you this amount. If you say, I will sell this deal to you, you got this deal. Give them the deal. Don't play that game. Don't be like, oh man, actually, I know I said that you can have that deal, but somebody came in higher. If you can match it, that'd be great. Now you're really, really, really eroding that trust. And I don't want you to do that because you're going to work with some of these people for a long time. But if they're aggressive, if they're pushing you, if they're whatever else, now you know to kind of build a force field around yourself and not deal with those type of people. But if you commit verbally, sell them the deal. Sell them the deal. It's 10K more. Yes, I get it, and that means a lot. But you committed. And you're going to have more deals. And if you believe in the process, if you believe in your skills, if you believe in the blueprint that we're putting out every single week on this channel, then you're going to be $10,000 will be a drop in the bucket compared to the millions of dollars that you're going to make back and forth in your marketplace. But it's going to be a lot harder. It's going to be like crab walking up a hill backwards if you have a bad reputation. Okay, imagine that. Imagine that, Alejandro. Anyway, so that's what I would do. And listen, I would wait to commit. And anyway, we'll go. So don't ruin your reputation. Here we go. Miran, got an assignment signed today. Come on. Are you kidding me? I love it. Congratulations. That is fantastic. I got an assignment signed today. Let us know what you're making on that. Samuel, come on, brother. Sam, only if you want to take it to the next level, brother. I'm going to be more than happy to work with you personally. Everybody in the TTP mentorship gets my phone number. We talk, we communicate. You work directly with me. There's nobody else. There's not some, $10 an hour support guy from the Philippines answering your questions. It's you and me, brother. So if it feels good in your gut, go to wholesalinginc.com/TTP, wholesalinginc.com/TTP, and sign up for a call. And they'll get a hold of you today, and make sure and see if it's the right fit for you. I think it will be. The most successful people around the country are in the TTP mentorship, including some of your great, some of your favorites that are out there right now have all gone through the training and have helped that to build the foundation for their business. So yeah, absolutely. He's got 2 properties and he made 10.5. There you go. Rock and roll, brother. Yep. Good. That is excellent. I love it. I love this part. People need to be more loud about their successes. I love it. So anyway, what else we got? Yep. Any questions? Any success they're going through? And Outcast, tips for getting over the fear of not being able to perform. Well, I hope that is a real estate thing and not something else. But yeah, I mean, here's the thing. It starts. Go back. If you didn't start this show with us, go back to that 7 layers deep exercise. Download it from the toolbox at TTP Insider and go through that because that's going to get to the core of why you're even doing this. Because if you understand, and everybody talks, what's your big why? My family's my why. That's not your why. Of course your family is your why, but why? Why do you have to support them? Why do you have to be an example to them? Why do you have to be the breadwinner? Why do you have to be a real estate mogul? Your family loves you if you live in a van. My family loves me if I live in a van. They'd love it. They'd love to just travel around with me in a van and have me all the time. I'd blow my brains out. I would be done. There is no way. But I'm just telling you, like, really get down to the deep, deep, deep reason that you have this feeling, that you have this passion, that your brain is different. You've got a different brain. So deep dive into that and find out what is that core reason that you want to be successful at that, and keep that in front of you, man. Keep that in front of you. And that's what's going to keep you aligned. That's what destroys fear. That and gratitude. Those are the two things. You understand, that you're going, that you're on a path to success, and you know what it takes to get there, and you know what you're doing is getting you closer and closer to that. And the second part of that is be grateful. Be grateful for all the fantastic things. Be grateful for the wonderful people in your life, the wonderful situations in your life, the wonderful whatever it is, whether it's your church, whether it's the country, whether it's friends and family, and just being able to be alive. The 1 in 4 trillion chance that you are on this planet, right? That's the odds that you're alive. 1 in 400 trillion? Yeah, 400 trillion. You're alive. I mean, it's incredible. You have you have your mind. You're not disabled by something. Maybe you are. Maybe that makes you stronger. Whatever. What are you grateful for? Those are the two things. Connect to that deep core of why you're doing this, and have gratitude. And then you're unstoppable. Good. Hit that subscribe button. Yes! Hit that subscribe button. We come out with the most up-to-date and the most pure instruction when it comes to building your real estate investing business. We don't let the mystery, we don't shroud it. It's not about me talking about all the deals and how badass I am and the cars and all this stuff. No, this is your show. This is your channel. This is to give you what you need so that you can be successful. Make sure that you subscribe. We come out with several videos every single day. It's absolutely bananas. It's exactly what you've been looking for, and the instruction that you're looking for. So subscribe today and get to work. Absolutely. Good. What do we got? How are we doing on time? Oh, we're pretty close. All right, good. Well, I think that's a wrap, guys. Why don't you guys come up? Everybody come up. I want to get the team in here. Everybody say hello or goodbye, I guess we could say. As always, we have a crew here running this whole show. We've got Daniel, the master of video and cameras and editing. We've got Matt, who sets up this whole studio and works with Daniel. We've got Jesse, that runs everything on the TTP Insider and all of the community. We've got Alejandra, that's making sure that everybody is taken care of and everything is out there so that and digestible, and keeps us pure and clean, and make sure that we are getting to the place where it is you can implement right away. And we've got Mike Mahoney, Captain Mike here, the producer of the show. We love you guys all. We come here every Wednesday, 10 a.m. Arizona time, and that's it. Thank you for joining us on the show. Guys, I don't know if you have to push some buttons to end this thing, but that's everybody. We love you guys. Until next week, make sure that you're digging in, subscribe to the channel, and I love you. See you guys.